Hey everyone, welcome back to this two-part webinar series on how to build conversational AI applications. This is the second part. My name is Manu Prasanna, and I'm a product manager at Avaamo. Before Avaamo, I worked at various Silicon Valley companies on cloud automation. Conversational AI has the potential to change the way you do business and build relationships with your customers, your employees, and stakeholders. In this two-part series, you are learning about the conversational AI journey and the nuances to design experiences that are effective, memorable, and delightful. In the first part, we taught you how to train high-performing machine learning and natural language processing models. We also then showed you how to identify your first use case and how to build a roadmap to roll out conversational AI in your organization. In this part, we shall do an introduction to the concept of skills. I will then introduce you to my colleague Ranjit, who is the global head of delivery. He will be talking about some of the recent successful deployments around the world. So this is the second part of the series again, and let's get started. Now, let's talk about skills. So that's the first thing that I'm going to talk to you about. But before we get started and before we talk about skills, I just want to briefly talk to you about the platform. To build a good conversational AI application, you need to choose a good conversational AI platform. We at Avaamo got started on conversational AI in 2014, before most people even knew what conversational AI was. The Avaamo platform is a one-stop shop for conversational AI and scales to thousands of developers and millions of users, all without leaving the platform. Full stack tooling is available for developers and non-technical conversation designers. Visual conversation design helps you create and manage conversation flows. Proprietary natural language understanding, or NLU, processes and understands complex user queries with a specific focus on reducing false positives. The NLU engine actually classifies users' intents and accurately extracts key entities from users, and it actually distills and discovers the purpose behind each user's message. We saw this in action in part 1 of this series. As far as the analytics goes, the analytics we provide you gives you a complete picture of your user journey. Things like, how are they utilizing the assistant? How do they interact within the context of a specific intent? Where do they drop off? Where the virtual assistant needs more training, and many other insights across channels. You can train the virtual assistant in supervised learning mode, where you can give user feedback to improve results. The Insights dashboard gives you information on usage like the number of user queries, active sessions, successful responses, and even unhandled queries, so you can continuously improve. We integrate with more than 150 of the most common business applications used in the enterprise today, out of the box. This includes CRM and marketing platforms like Salesforce, SAP, and Oracle, ITSM tools like ServiceNow and BMC Remedy, and in the supply chain world, tools like SAP. Of course, there are many more, including vertically focused tools. As I mentioned to you, we integrate with more than 150 applications. We also have live agent integration with the most commonly used live agent platforms. As far as languages go, we support more than 30 languages in text and voice. So as you can tell, when it comes to a conversational AI, we are a comprehensive platform. Using a platform like the one Avaamo has and our skill builders and vertical skills, which I shall be talking to you about shortly, you can get your virtual assistant up and running in 6 to 8 weeks. So picking the right platform is a critical factor on how successful you will be at building your first conversational AI application. After more than half a decade in the industry, providing solutions to several of the largest companies in the world, we came to some realizations. We realized that every virtual assistant has a workflow, has training data that's relevant to that workflow, an NLU engine to understand your industry, something that allows you to build a vertical specific integration to your system of record, whether that's a CRM like Salesforce or an incident management system like ServiceNow or Zendesk, or for an HR integration to a tool like Workday. Then there is the channel where you want to deliver it, whether it's web, mobile app, or any other type of messenger like WhatsApp for Business. What if you could take all of this and package it into one single unit of work? That's what we did. What if you could drag and drop it to get you up and running? That's what an Avaamo skill or an Avaamo enterprise skill does. Here's an example of the skills built for a service desk. These are fully packaged workflows that let you tailor them for your company's needs. This includes speeding up employee onboarding with self-service when your employee joins the company. And once they're on board with frequent skills or frequent requests like password requests, incident management, software provisioning, service catalog, equipment requests, which are part of every single company. Our skills very often represent a complete journey in an industry. Here's an example in healthcare, where previously patients took hours just trying to find the right doctors and clinics for their ailments, just making an appointment or going back and forth with their physician. How about accessing their records or managing their medication? This used to take hours before, and patients often showed up unannounced at clinics. Now it's all done through Avaamo virtual assistants. It's a great experience, and everybody stays home and everybody stays safe. The best part of it is these are all available as skills on the healthcare skill area of the skill store. So if you are a healthcare provider, this is all available for you on the skill store out of the box. It's not just healthcare. We've done that for many industries. In fact, there are 8,000 skills. These skills will show you how to create rapid conversation and virtual assistants faster than anyone else in the industry. As I mentioned to you before, we have skills for 6 vertical industries. And even if you don't fall under these industries, we have it for employee self-service, IT service desk, and managing supply chain. Things that every company needs. Those 8,000 skills that I was talking about, they're all available to you on the skill store. The best part of it is we've already built the skill store. You can start using it. It's already populated with skills certified by Avaamo. Or you can build your own internal skill store. This can be built by multiple divisions or lines of business as a skills library. You can add all your enterprise guardrails to these skills so that you are in 100% compliance with your business governance and security policies. These are pre-built, pre-trained skills built for and by enterprises. Enterprise skills handle complex, multi-turn business use cases. These skills can be shared, they can be published, and they can be easily reused. Partners and developers can contribute to the growing skills library. It's all very fast. Virtual assistants can be quickly assembled and deployed by importing skills. So you've deployed your conversational AI application. How do you ensure that it's running smooth and that you can make it grow and make it scale? To tell you more, I'm going to invite Ranjit. Ranjit is my colleague. He is the head of our global delivery team. And he's going to talk about some recent successful deployments around the world. So over to you, Ranjit.
Thank you, Manu. Um, Hi, everyone. This is Ranjit Anand. I head the global delivery at Avaamo. So I closely work with all of our clients to ensure that the implementations are smooth, and I also work with them to ensure that the virtual agents that we deliver are eventually successful and it helps them in achieving their business value. Now, I will be taking you across some of our real world examples of how we have implemented some of the solutions on this technology and how the business value gets accomplished for these enterprises. So let me start with a telco that's based out of APAC. So this is a service desk virtual agent that we have deployed for them. This was back in 2018. And this particular telco has around 35,000 employees. So the service desk that we deployed, which was deployed on their Skype for Business channel, which is their official messenger internal to all of their employees. And just to talk about the stats, it's results around like 10,000 queries a month. So that's the volume that we are talking about. And this particular virtual agent is capable to have conversation in two languages, English being one of them, the other one is the Southeast Asian language. So let me talk about the journey that they have taken and how we went about making modifications to the bot and how it helped the business accordingly. So it was a 11-month period that we monitored. So I'm going to take you across certain milestones throughout this period and also talk about the business values. In this particular examples, we will be talking about cost savings and productivity. So these are the business values that we will be addressing such that we will see how this particular enterprise achieve it, right? So on month one, when we launch this particular virtual agent on their Skype for Business, we launched it with two transactional skills. It was specifically around reporting an incident or raising a service ticket. So if you are an employee, you're facing issues with your laptop, your Outlook is not working, your Wi-Fi is not working, or do you need a new mouse or a keyboard, you can just go to this virtual agent on Skype for Business and launch a service ticket or report an incident. What we realized at the end of month three to check back on their business values was they ended up increasing their productivity of their employees, as you can see here. And at the same time, if you notice here, the cost savings, which is supposed to be on the positive side, ended up being negative here. That means with minus 15% cost savings, that means that they were spending more than usual of their costs to manage this service desk. So this was kind of a surprise to all of the teams, all of the stakeholders. So we all got together, we figured out what went wrong, why is this technology being a disadvantage, then what we realized was the business value that was defined at this stage was to provide a technology which gives the employees ease of use and a handy process where they can just raise a incident and service request. So the technology is indeed working for the business value that was defined at here. But what the IT heads and our IT department realized was focusing on that particular business value ended up incurring more costs than usual. So now we had to change what is the business value that we will be focusing on. So the turnaround was let's focus on cost savings. So accordingly, we changed the scope of the implementation. So we figured out, okay, to save the cost, one of the key activity that we need to do is we need to avoid letting employees create more and more tickets. At the same time, help employees solve the problem themselves. The reason being, the enterprise had outsourced their IT service desk to another system integrator company, and they were charging this particular enterprise on the amount of tickets that was getting resolved. So we went through, we figured out all of their data for last 1 year. Later we realized that 80% of their time, their employees were asking the same questions, and it was the same solution that the service engineers was delivering. So we collected all of those data and we created a knowledge base within the virtual agent such that the virtual agent in turn had a capability to give a self troubleshooting instruction to the employees then and there. And if the employee follows those steps and if it helps, it can avoid them creating a ticket. So we did that and the result was tremendous, right? A lot of issues were resolved by the employees following those instructions by themselves. So we saw a huge change from minus 15, the cost savings went up to plus 20%. Then we realized that okay, this is the technology that is working now. Let's see if we can make more out of it. So we added more self-serving skills. As we kept doing that, the productivity kept increasing, and so is the cost savings. So right now, as you can see here, this particular virtual agent not only has those self-service models and an ability to create those service tickets, it also has an automatic troubleshooting capabilities where if you report an issue, this virtual agent has a capability to go back, check all your system issues, troubleshoot by itself, run some programs and algorithms, and if there is a resolution achieved, it comes back and tells you as an employee saying that your issue is resolved, you can continue your work, right? So this not only saves time from employee following any instruction, but also helps them continue and improve their productivity over time. So this is one of the examples that I wanted to highlight where if you take up this technology and if you want to scale it up in your enterprise, it's very important you decide what is that business value that you want to achieve with this technology, right? And with this particular incident here, it also should give you an indication that if you decide a wrong business value, it can backfire as well. So it's very important you take this technology in the right direction, right? So let me talk about another example. So this is one of the leading insurance companies in India, and as you can see with some of the stats, this particular virtual agent caters to around zero point 0.8 million unique queries, which constitutes about 40% of the customer base for this particular enterprise. And these are the data that we have captured in 2019. And it had solved around 2.3 million customer queries in that particular year. And it had generated 250,000 leads in that particular year. That means that it was 20% more leads than compared to the last year. It has a lot of customer service capabilities, where as an insurance customer, you can go get your code, see your policy details, go edit your policies, get some statements, tax certificates, pay your premium, set alerts for any renewal reminders, whatnot, right? And it is, since it's a consumer based virtual agent, using Avaamo's platform, they had the luxury to deploy the same virtual agent across different channels. As you can see, it is available on their websites, it's available on WhatsApp for their end user, on their Facebook Messenger. It can even take voice inputs on their website. and it is capable of handling conversation in English and Hindi, right? So let's talk about their journey and how it helped them over the time, right? So if you see here, we have put in a 18-month period on how they started off and then what are all the capabilities that they kept adding. And these were the two business values that they wanted to focus on. They wanted to focus on reducing their call volumes that they were getting it over the time. So people used to call them for policy details, people used to call them for getting a statement or to getting a quote. And they also want to use this virtual agent, since it's available for public consumers. They also want to use this as a way to get new leads, right? So we started again, we launched it with two transactional skills on their employee portal. We started running pilots against that, making sure that the services capabilities that we have built in is optimum and it is capable for the end user. And thereby, when I say employees, these are a lot of middlemen within the company. These are agents where they were doing customer service on behalf of customers. Thereby, a lot of calls were deviated, and they saw a 15% reduction in call within the first 5 months. And we also added a lot of customer services capabilities, right? With that, the calls kept reducing. When I say calls, it also includes email volumes as well. That traffic kept reducing it. And if you see over the time, the leads the increase in leads kept going on, right? So we added a lot of capabilities where uh, end users can get some information about the products, get quotes on those products. We launched it on WhatsApp, and later it is in a situation where most of their new products are launched through this bot first before even it goes to their website or their mobile app portals or the ads that they run, right? So that's the effectiveness of a technology like this. In an insurance based enterprise, if you can see, the calls has reduced at minus 55%. That means that 55% of their calls were addressed by a conversational agent, and this is the agent which is also helping them generate new leads. So 15 to 20% increase of leads would mean that it's doing a job of a lot of salespeople in your enterprise, right? So this is another example of how you can make use of a technology like this at scale. And lastly, I want to talk about this particular example where it's a leading property management company in UAE. It is so vast that it kind of caters to 40,000 properties across Dubai, right? And they wanted to provide a demography of their clientele, which is in English and Arabic. So since it's a property management firm, they wanted to make sure that all of their tenants or the consumers or the customers get all of their customer service capabilities through this bot. So they were able to raise a service request, they were able to get their account statement or get a check status, check their payment schedule, what is the status of their contract, how do they locate different branches of this company, right? We also built a capabilities where any new consumer or any new visitor has the ability to find new properties and see if they can like enroll or send an inquiry. It is again, since it's public facing, it is deployed in English, Arabic, it's deployed in web, it's available on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Twitter, and even in their mobile app that's used by a lot of people. And it can even take voice inputs. So this is the vast number of channels that they have made it available within Dubai. And that kind of goes on to prove that this is a technology that can be handy for the end user. If you want to reach the end user, you can go to the extent of the most common channels of communications that the end user is using, right? Let's talk about this journey, right? So we have just taken a 7 month period to monitor this. As I was talking in the previous example, they wanted to reduce their call volumes, and they also wanted to see if they can generate leads. So that is where we started by adding customer service examples where people can raise service tickets, things like, hey, I have issue with my parking lot, there are power issues at my home, there were plumbing issues. We are talking about like thousands of tickets created on different channels. And then one of their challenges was people struggled a lot to create those tickets. So with the technology like this, it helped them a lot. While we deployed it, it reduced a lot of call volumes. It started by reducing 5%, and their leads were increased by 5%. So we added self-servicing capabilities. That means that, let's say if I'm a tenant and I'm seeing that there's an issue with plumbing or there's an issue with power outage, there were some self-servicing instructions that I would be required to follow. If I do that, there's a high probability that the resolution will be achieved right then and there, so that I don't need to file a new service ticket. So we did that. That indeed reduced the service tickets by 10%. And if you notice, the leads kept increasing. And the moment we launched it in Arabic, which is on the month 7, that is when we saw a major change, right? So the calls reduced by 25%, right? So we are talking about some 80,000 calls a month. It reduced 25% of those calls. And since the bot is available in Arabic, the leads that they were generating on a month by month basis increased a lot, right? So this is the company where they introduced this new technology, and then imagine it is helping their customers and also helping them save huge tons of money by reducing call volumes, and also generating a lot of revenue for them by giving them so many leads on a month by month basis, right? So these are some of the examples where you adopt a conversational AI technology, you build solutions accordingly, you define the business values, and this is going to take you a really long way, right? So I hope those real world examples were helpful. Now let me pass it on to Manu. Manu, over to you. Thank you, everyone.